Have just a few items on our agenda for tonight. And we do not yet have the finance director with us, and I believe she will be attending also. But if the first couple items, she doesn't need to be here for. So item number 2 is to elect a commission chair and vice chair. Our former chairman, Tom Weaver, his term has run out, and he has opted to not renew for another term in that position. So we will need to elect a chairman and a vice chairman going forward tonight. We'll take nominations for chairperson first. Does anyone wish to nominate a chairperson? Tom Neal is also on this committee, but he's absent today, excused. So he's also eligible for nomination, even though he's not present. So do we have any nominations?
Would it be safe to pick a chair if there's only 3 people present? Or should we hold to next?
It's normally not a hotly contested item, so I think we're safe.
Okay.
You know, obviously, if whoever's picked for either position isn't here and they're not willing to serve, we can certainly substitute. We can do another vote for someone else if whoever that is doesn't want to serve. But I think we can get over the hurdle with a quorum.
Okay.
The attorney's nodding that we're okay to do that.
And what's the role of this person? I don't think this changing anything, but you're just guiding the meeting, correct?
Oh, yep, Tim, I'm just getting us started, so I'm not it. I was it for the last one temporarily, but, yeah, just so that we have someone to call us to order and get the nominations sealed up. So, any nominations for chair first, we'll take those now.
I would nominate Tom.
Okay, we have a nomination from Vandeyat for Tom Neal as the chair. Do we have a second to that nomination?
I'll second that.
Second by Martins. Any additional nominations for chair? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on that first. Since it's an uncontested race, we can vote to cast a unanimous ballot to appoint Tom Neal as the chair. Members in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None are opposed, so Tom Neal is the chair, who's absent, so we need a vice chair. So do we have any nominations at this point for vice chair? Anyone? Nominations for vice chair of the committee? It only meets a couple times a year, so it's not a whole lot of work.
I would, looking for them, Mr. Martins, I would nominate.
Mr. Martins, are you willing to serve as the vice chair?
I could serve as, yes, I could serve as a vice
Okay,
chair.
all right. So then I will second Tim's nomination for Mike Martins as vice chair. With that, any additional nominations? If not, we'll close nominations and ask the committee to cast a unanimous ballot for Mike Martins as the vice chair of this committee. Members in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None are opposed. Now, in the absence of Chairman Neal, I can turn control of this meeting over to Vice Chair Martins. And so if you want to chair it from down there, you can, or we can change chairs, whichever. I'm going to move over to my normal chair, though. All right. So give us just a couple seconds to play musical chairs, and Mike will be on deck here.
And the camera doesn't have to search for me, I guess.
That's right.
Okay. The switches are still on, so. All right, thank you, Lisa, for starting us off this afternoon. So we'll move on to the third point of the agenda, approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Move to approve.
Okay, a motion from Rasmussen. And do I have a second? A second from Pargoya. So any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. All right, number 4. Discussion and possible action regarding proposed tourism entity agreement between the City of Wausau Room Tax Commission and Wausau Central Wisconsin Convention and Visitors Bureau Incorporated.
I guess I'll start, and then I'll probably ask Ann to do a little bit more robust here. But so obviously, last year at this time, we were in a different situation, and you have all voted on, well, most of you have voted on the MOU with the CVB. And so in that spirit, we're moving forward with a contract. And this contract isn't isn't surprising in that you'll see all of the things in that MOU and all of the things we've discussed. But if you have any questions, Anne is probably most well suited to answer them, but just want to let you know that we are moving forward with this. I've shared the packet with our friends in Weston and Rib Mountain, so we're probably moving forward in a similar manner, but that's what I know.
Okay.
Just a quick comment.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. So knowing that we have had a lengthy dialogue and some mediation with the CVB, it appears that almost everything that we had asked for in terms of transparency and, seats at the table for important discussions surrounding the relationship with the CVB, they've been agreeable to. Is that?
Yeah, in the MOU, that is what we mediated. I think there's a little bit of disorganization right now, so we're trying to push through and come to this final contract. So we drafted this, so there could be a little back and forth, but I'm guessing nothing is surprising to the CVB or us. So, but yes.
The mayor's correct. I would just add, Lisa, that remember, we did go through committee, commission, and council to approve authority for the mayor to sign the MOU.
Yes.
We never got an executed copy back from them. However, we're assuming that since the MOU was drafted and put into writing, that they participated in that and they agree with its terms. We did not change any of those terms except that one item that said, we did negotiate a contract with them subject to council approval. So we're assuming, although we don't have an executed copy of the MOU by both parties, that they will agree to what they agreed to during mediation. So those three items from the MOU are in your clean copy of your draft contract here. And I made very few other changes to it. I did have the benefit of Rib Mountain's executed contract at the time, so I took the best of what was in theirs and tweaked ours to add good stuff to it.
Good deal.
We changed the term from 2 to 1 year. And I also put in a termination without cause of 30 days written notice. So we don't have to allege a breach or a material
Right.
breach of the contract to get out of it in the future. So there's enough protections built in, we should be okay. Others were just like typos I corrected and little things. But if you have any questions,
Sounds like we're headed in a
ask.
way better direction. Absent any substantive changes that deviate from the draft that we have in the packets, I'll make a motion to approve that draft and then allow the process to continue forward.
Okay, a motion by Rasmussen to approve the draft. Do we have a second? Second by Pagoria. Any discussion on that? And then, otherwise, I assume that since this is a draft contract, does this go to the CVB or does this go to the council, or is there still back and forth at this point?
So,
or-
assuming that you agree with this, what I would suggest we do is I'll talk to the CVB and say, here's what we've passed through room tax. It's going to finance, I believe.
Finance
So,
next week, I believe.
But yeah, so I would want to talk to them a little bit about it, and if there are any major contentions in it, which I'm not expecting, again, like we agreed to this earlier this year, so, but I will let you know what I hear back. And also there's a meeting of the, oh my gosh, what is it called? They're trying to recruit a new headhunt, or they're trying to appoint a new director. And so that meeting is happening today, so I'll have some updates on that whole process too, so.
Excellent.
But I'll have updates, I'm guessing, by the finance committee meeting. If we hit a roadblock, you will definitely know about it, so.
So that's for the 15th meeting, finance?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion? Not hearing or seeing any. All those in favor of approving this draft, say aye.
Aye?
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So, okay, that's.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving forward on that, that's nice. Item number 5, discussion and possible action evaluating and awarding the special 2021
Hello?
tourism grant request. So,
Vice Chair Martins, I think Tim just tried to join.
okay. Tim, did you have a question?
Sorry,
or-
I lost.
Or did you just drop off?
No, I just dropped off.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good
On it.
to have you back. We're on item number 5, discussion and possible action evaluating and awarding the special 2021 tourism grant request. So,
Okay,
you want-
perfect.
So, historically, we have done this twice a year. With the pandemic, we had very few requests in the February allocation. We did receive a request for the Hmong Festival for us to open up a new window. With the vaccination has really changed how people are able to conduct themselves because it really has tamped down the spread of the disease. And so, initially, many events were not going to take place because of the unknown about the pandemic. And so talking to the mayor, we felt that it was pretty safe to open up one more period for tourism. So we did that. We put a press release out to let people know. We did just receive one request for the Hmong Festival, and that is included in your packet. I do believe there will be sufficient room tax collected to fund this request. When we're comparing room tax this year to last year, our first quarter of 2021 was up about 38% to third and fourth quarter last year. So I feel like there will be sufficient funds to fund this, and so that shouldn't be a concern of the committee in their consideration.
Okay, and I suppose too, with this primarily being an outdoor event, it's a large venue, and it's going to be a safe activity to
Yes.
hold, so. Any discussion, or Rasmussen?
Thank you. I think that, we score them. We have one to score, so I scored them, even though that's a symbolic gesture. It scored 112. It's an event of wide interest. It's unique to this area. So I would make a motion that we approve this request in full.
Okay. A motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Bagaria. And any discussion, any further discussion? No. Mayor, did you have anything or no? No? Okay.
Nope, I'm just excited for this
Okay.
summer.
No, I think, with the, and with the soccer fields in my district, I know it's widely popular, and I like seeing all of that, seeing that attendance get back and people doing stuff down there, so I'm excited too. Right, not hearing anything else, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And it carries. And then we'll move on to number 6, discussion and possible action regarding the proposal from the CVB to fund the new executive director search.
Hello again. So, obviously, part of our contract that you just looked at was having municipal input in this director position. And one of the things that I think that we've been talking about as municipalities is that it's hard to recruit for some of these jobs, and they had limited responses last time when they just stuck it out when they advertised for the job earlier this year. And so we suggested that they hire a headhunter, and they said that's all cool. I think we're going to need help funding that. So this request is going to all of the municipalities, definitely to Wausau, Rib Mountain, and Weston, and probably others involved, but definitely the three of us. It's not very much, but I think it will help us get the right person for the job.
Do we have a guess as to what their total expected cost is? I see they're asking for $2,000 to $5,000 from each community, but do we have a total?
I want to say it's somewhere around 15 or 20. I think they were going off of, we used GovHR, and I think they were going off of what we had used in the past for director positions.
Yeah, I think headhunters usually take a percentage of what the base salary is, so it's whatever.
Is it an expense we could fund from room tax, Marianne?
Yeah, I think we would take this out of room tax if you guys make that recommendation.
And we have sufficient funds?
Yes.
On the search, definitely, I think I personally know how hard it is to all industries for sure, but to attract and recruit. Along with financial funding, are the municipalities being able to participate actively in that search with those dollars, or is there any change in role, or is it sticking with the CVB alone?
Yeah, so this is good timing all around. The contract that the committee just agreed to, in it, we put that we want to be involved in that search and that picking of the executive director. So, yes. And I know right now, Rib Mountain is actively involved in in that committee, but we would expect to be more involved once we sign back on.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely think that that's a key to finding the right candidate or candidates.
Candidates for sure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, with this being sort of an embattled position and the new hire will have a lot of work to do to mend some fences. Yeah, we really need to see the best, the best candidates come forward. And sometimes a recruiter is the way you need to do that. So, Lisa?
Thank you. Yeah, and that person needs a specialized skill set. I mean, they need to be everything from an organizer to a, to a salesperson, basically, to outcompete other communities for the events that we want here. I think that, there's a bright horizon ahead, given the new contracts and the relationships that we've been able to forge with our neighboring communities through this process. So I think what started as a negative could really end as a positive. And if they find the right person, it really becomes a win-win for everyone involved. So I believe that we are invested enough in needing that right person, and having shepherded this process and kind of coordinated a lot of it from the beginning. I would be willing to make a motion that we approve $5,000 from room tax to cover that process from our community, and hope that the other neighboring communities will also contribute and follow suit.
Okay, so,
Yeah, you
Go
made
ahead,
that
Tom.
motion, right?
I did.
okay.
I would second that on the heels of, can I make a motion? Yeah. I can.
You're not allowed, I don't think you're allowed to make any motions, but you can talk in favor of it if you want.
Oh,
But we might need a second before you can talk. Okay, we have a second.
Okay, second.
Yeah.
So motion has been made and seconded. Do we, any additional discussion? So, Tim, I think you had something there, did you?
I think the key piece of that is, and I don't think it's the money, I think it's the unity that hopefully the municipalities can find in that search is what's going to win the day. And I would assume that we're going to have to pay to play on that one. That's all I would have on that.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. Lisa, did your motion have a dollar figure attached to it, or do we just?
5,000.
Okay.
Yep, from room tax.
Yeah. Because I saw this was the variable here.
Do you want it to be up to 5,000? Like, are we expecting them to send us like an invoice for our share, or?
I'm definitely talking to them.
Okay. Okay.
So
We'll get
I'll amend
clear-
my motion then to include, to approve an amount not to exceed 5,000.
Okay, perfect.
So that way you have some leeway to work with them if
Yeah.
it turns out they need less.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Is that
Is there,
agreeable with that?
on that, I'm sorry, real quick, on that motion, could we do it as a matching figure with the other municipalities? So it's an equal contribution or not necessary?
Not knowing what the other ones have in their funding, have available for funding, or what their communities can afford, I would really hate to cut the process short. I mean, if we have ample funding to go up to 5 if we need to, not to say that we would contribute in disproportionate shares, but I think as a
Yeah.
group of communities, we need to get the process across the finish line, and I'd hate to cut ours short and then not have
For a
them have
couple grand.
enough. Yeah. So I'm all about equal
That's fair.
shares, but if the other ones can't make it to the same level, then, I'm good with up to 5. If
That's a really good point. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that too. It's critical that we have the right person in there, and I don't want to cut this process short because,
Well, or delay it if we need to
Or
have
delay it.
additional meetings to approve more money or whatever. I think
Yeah.
if we, approve up to 5, that gives them some wiggle room to
Mm-hmm.
work with the CVB and the neighboring communities.
and I think over and above, didn't the CVB was going to take up the slack on if there was any expense over and above? that,
Sounds like it
so,
according to their letter.
Yeah, so that's good to see. So, Okay, any further discussion? Not hearing anything. We can vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that carries. And that brings us to the end of our agenda.
Move to adjourn?
Motion's been made by Rasmussen. Second by Gregoria, to adjourn. And we stand adjourned. So we don't have to vote on
Thank
that.
you.
So
Bye, Tim.
Bye.